Bassmaster returns to Clewiston, Florida for stop number 1.
My childhood was a lot different than I imagine a lot of people would think.
Your champion, Scott Martin.
I had to learn how to do things on my own because, again, he wasn't around.
Let's get ready to win.
He's one of the best fishermen in the world.
There was a lot of backlash. Why would he go to a bass mafia?
And the now dangerous one, Chris Zalday.
He's one of the most popular anglers on tour.
Every dollar I've ever made is because of what I've done.
In the next chapter of my career, my goals are pretty simple. Is have a chance to hoist the Bassmasters Classic trophy over my head in front of my dad.
That is it, baby.
Hi, I'm Scott Martin, and this is my challenge.
Well, my name's Scott Martin. I live down in Clewiston, Florida, on the shores of world-famous Lake Okeechobee.
Clewiston is known as the bass fishing capital of the world and the sweetest town in America.
But I was born in the state of Oklahoma. We lived out there until I was about the age of 4 or so, and we moved to Florida. Been there ever since. It's been awesome. Florida's been great. And the thing I love about Florida the most is having the ability to be able to fish pretty much year-round. You know, for me, fishing started at an early age. I don't even remember my first fishing trip because I was about 2 years old from what I've been told. And, we'd go with my mom and my dad. You know, growing up in a fishing family, literally a fishing family, with my dad, being a professional fisherman, Roland Martin, kind of starting out the sport from back in the 60s, to even my mom that fished a lot of the women's trails as well. So growing up, I spent my childhood on the road, going to these different lakes, like Lake Toledo Bend, like here behind us, and staying at the RV parks while my mom and my dad fished in these tournaments all over the country. So at a very young age, I was exposed to fishing and, more importantly, tournament fishing. But, from then, I just kept fishing and started spending, pretty much 250 to 300 days a year on Lake Okeechobee, to then fishing my very first professional tournament, my very first Bassmasters tournament there on the shores of Lake Okeechobee in 1998. And then in the year 2000, moved over to the FLW Tour and started fishing that competitively for over 20 years.
Former Cup champion, former Angler of the Year.
Won a big tournament in Lake Okeechobee along with 7 other tournaments around the country. And then about 3 years ago, I decided to make the big leap to the Bassmaster Trail and try to make the elites.
You've got giant fields, 200 anglers, lots of talent at 9 different top-notch fisheries across the country. But in addition to that, it's also the pipeline. It's the future. It's how you gain access to the Bassmaster Elite Series. Here's a guarantee. You've never seen anything like this one. The greatest bass anglers in the world have qualified for the most extensive tournament series ever. And it starts today.
Well, I've grown up in the fishing world in a literal sense. My dad, Roland Martin, has kind of started the whole bass fishing wave back with Ray Scott when the whole sport started back in the late 60s. And my mom, believe it or not, actually fished a lot of local tournaments around Oklahoma, even before my mom and dad were married, with my grandfather. And so she had the love of fishing instilled in her at an early age. Of course, my dad had great success for all these years.
He was a longtime Bassmaster record holder for number of tournaments won at 19. He still holds the record for Bassmaster Angler of the Year titles at 9. His name became synonymous with the Angler of the Year title.
The one thing that did elude him, and that's really part of my driving force out here on the road, trying to win the Bassmasters Classic for my dad.
Roland Martin, what'd you do today?
Did terrible. It comes to the point of pride. We're so far behind. All we can do is come in with a nice looking stringer and they say, they really are fishermen.
Roland Martin never won the Classic. Never won the Classic. This may be it.
I don't know if it ever happened, but I'm going to just fish my heart out, see what I can do here. But to be able to win or have an opportunity to win a Bassmasters Classic one day for my dad would be super special. You know, like I said, my mom fished. She actually won the Bass and Gal Classic back in 1979, which was really cool. And she loves fishing as well. So I've just been surrounded by it my whole life. So it's kind of like I had no other choice other than getting involved in fishing, because both your parents do it as a full-time gig. It's pretty serious around the Mark family. All right, so far I've made the Classic twice. My first two chances went okay. My best chance to maybe do this special dream and with winning the Classic was in 2021 at Lake Hartwell.
Now from Lewiston, Florida. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Here comes Scott Martin.
Well, I'll tell you what, the dream is still alive, Dave. You know, I caught a lot of fish today, just didn't catch the right ones. You know, I fished my heart out. You know, it just wasn't meant to be.
I was actually leading that event throughout part of that event. Got a lot of coverage for it, a lot of press. It was pretty electrifying. That final day, I didn't catch them very good at all and fell back out of contention. But the first 2 days, I was really on pace to pull off something special. Just had a lot of missed fish that last day of the tournament. And, you know, you can't afford to have opportunity to slip away like that in the tournament of the magnitude of the Bassmasters Classic. You got to fish 100%. If you can fish 100% and you're on good fish, you've got a really good chance of doing something special. But for me, so far, 2021 Lake Hartwell was my biggest chance, but we've got bigger things coming for sure.
Hey, we got her. Oh, got her. Oh, let's go. Yes. Oh, baby. Absolutely.
But we've got bigger things coming for sure. So the 2024 season, in my mind, is a little bit of a reset, and for me, honestly, it's a little less stressful, simply because I was able to win that first tournament of the year on the Opens.
Let's hear it for your champion here.
And go ahead and get my Classic qualification for 2025 out of the way, so I don't have to count points this year. But, you know, making the Classic's been such a big focus the first few years on tour that, you know, I really focused heavily on that. This last year, I kind of took a little slightly different approach where I wanted to try to win a tournament. And so I gambled a little bit more than I should have. And I don't mind gambling. I don't mind pushing the envelope. But for me, you have to do it. I made some mistakes. You have to do it at the right time. It's kind of like that old saying, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. And for me, I just kind of didn't fold them at the right time and didn't play it safe in a couple tournaments. And it cost me a couple bad tournaments last year. Has me sitting one spot out of the Bassmasters Classic this year. So I'm literally alternate. If something happens where somebody can't fish, I guess they're going to call me up and I'm in. But this year, it's all about making as much money as I can and trying to win a tournament, because I don't have to count points. I'm in the Classic. That's a beautiful thing. So I want to be financially successful. It's cost a lot of money out here doing all this. And most importantly, I want to hold up a blue trophy over my head. Bass tournaments are interesting. You know, as I talk to people and they ask me what I do and I say I'm a professional fisherman, they always initially think, if they know nothing about professional fishing, that I'm like a commercial fisherman selling catfish at the market. But I'm like, no, I'm a bass fisherman. I travel around the country fishing bass tournaments like you see on TV, and they go, oh, wow, how does that work? And I always kind of chuckle inside, because it's like, it is kind of crazy. It's a little bit like a NASCAR race mixed in with like a puzzle solving contest. You know, like you've seen the videos where they're trying to unlock that unlockable thing. That's what these tournaments are like. Here's how it works. We show up to a lake like Toledo Bend here behind us. There's about 100 people in the tournament. We've all qualified to fish the tour. We show up, We get 3 days to go out on the water and try to unlock the lake, try to figure out our game plan, our personal game plan. What do I think the fish are doing? What cycle the fish are in? Are they in a pre-spawn, a spawn, a post-spawn? What's the weather going to do? Is there a front coming? Is it going to rain? All these factors that you have to calculate out over those 3 days. And you have to formulate a really good game plan, because when the tournament starts, there's a 4-day event. And over the first 2 days of that 4-day event, the entire field fishes. So you have 100 boats out there all implementing their game plan. We get to keep 5 fish, our 5 biggest ones, in the live well each day. I can catch 100 bass that day, but I keep letting go the smallest ones. So I want to keep the best 5, and that's what we call culling. So I'll cull out the smallest ones till I end up with my biggest 5 that I can potentially catch that first day. I'm going to bring them in to weigh in alive. We put them on the scales, they weigh what they weigh, and then everybody is in order, and you have first place to last place. We do that again on day 2. Everybody fishes. And over the course of the first 2 days, they're going to then cut the full field down to what we call qualifying day on Saturday to the top 50. So half the field's going to get cut. We keep the same weight. So the first day weight, the second day weight's added together. Then the third day weight, we go out 50 boats, same rules, 5 fish, biggest ones. We come in, that third day is added to your first 2 days. Then the final day is now cut down. Championship Sunday, so we're all fishing for Championship Sunday, is cut down to the final 10 anglers. The final 10 anglers go out on that final day, and you, again, add up all the weight over 4 days, and you've got a winner. And when that winner wins first place, he gets that coveted blue trophy. He also gets a check for $100,000. That's pretty impressive, pretty awesome stuff to be able to go out and fish for a living and have a chance to win an earth-shattering amount like $100,000, and that's a big deal. So it's fun. Again, you've got so many decisions to make. You've got so many things to take into consideration, and that's what makes it so fun. Fishing is not an exact science. These fish are living creatures. They have a mind of their own. They change daily with the weather conditions. They're predatory fish. You got to think about a bass as a predatory fish, so it's always on the hunt. It's always hiding in somewhere to ambush a bait fish. And as a fisherman, we have to break down, is that fish hiding behind that stump? Is that fish in that brush pile? Is that fish under that dock? Is that fish out in open water chasing bait around? We have to make those decisions, and not only just to catch them, but to catch the 5 biggest ones every single day. That's pretty hard, but that's what makes it fun. So for me, I've been doing this for 25 years. It's a long time. And over those 25 years, I've had some great success. I've had goals my whole life. And on the FLW Tour, I had a goal of winning some tournaments. I had a goal of winning Angler of the Year. I had a goal of winning the championship. And I was able to do that. And that was a true blessing. And now, in the next chapter of my career, my goals are pretty simple. Win a Bassmaster Open, which I just fortunately did, which is awesome. Second goal is to win a Bassmaster Elite, hold that blue trophy over my head. And then third is have a chance to hoist the Bassmasters Classic trophy over my head in front of my dad. And those are my goals. So for me, I've been doing this a long time. I know I can win. I know I have the tools, the knowledge, the drive, the passion to pull off something special. It just takes a lot of hard work. And it's like I used to tell my wife all the time, I'm going to win a tournament. I just don't know when yet, but I'm going to win one. And so I feel like I got a lot more in me. I'm revitalized being over here. I'm in good shape right now, mentally and physically prepared to try to do something special. And that's my goal for the next couple of years, and we'll see how this goes. But I've been doing this a long time. I love the sport, I've been around it for so many years. Even as a little kid, I kind of consider myself one of the, OGs of the sport. I don't know. One day, I guess my dad's the true OG and Bill Dance, so I guess I'm the next in line. I'm like the OG in waiting, maybe. I don't know, something like that. But we're having fun out here, that's for sure.
Every dollar I've ever made has been because of what I've done, 100%. Does that sound all right, or does that sound rude or something? Because it kind of pisses me off.
Got her. Got her. Let's go.
Oh, baby. Absolutely.